What's going on, everybody? And welcome to Bell Outright Occult Gaming with me, your host, Bell Outright. And today, we are starting Darksiders II Deathinitive Edition. And we will, of course, be playing on apocalyptic difficulty, just like the first game. And I actually hope you guys managed to catch that first playthrough, just so you can see the changes that they made, Vigil Games made between Darksiders number 1 and Darksiders number 2. Now this is indeed a treat. So I actually can't wait to show you guys the gameplay. Now this is one of those games that initially I didn't really like. I liked it, but it didn't hold my interest for very long. I had dropped it for a while. But after picking it back up and playing it all the way through, it was very enjoyable. It was immensely enjoyable. And this will be my, I believe this is my third playthrough of the game. So, and this one's a bit different from the first Darksiders when it comes to saving. As you saw, they gave us 4 slots. And you won't be able to save in the various slots. What you'll have to do, and actually we'll be playing on Deathinitive. That is the difficulty for this particular game, the highest difficulty. So I did want to play it on the highest difficulty. And as you guys can probably already tell, this is post commentary. I decided to actually go with this method right off the bat because it is the most convenient method for me to record, even though technically it does take twice the amount of time to do my recordings. But I'm able to actually record more videos this way at one particular time. And anyway, I won't have to worry about the my Elgato not capturing voiceover. So I just felt like we might as well, since about half our videos on the last playthrough required this, I just figured we might as well go from scratch with this. So right there, I was checking to see if Deathinitive had a trophy to get, and it appears that it did. So we're gonna play on Deathinitive. So this game starts off very differently from the very first Darksiders. And of course, this will be War's Quest. No, sorry, this will be Death's Quest, which is
there can be no life without order. Good,
go ahead and
evil,
be quiet for
darkness, light. There must be balance in the universe. Such is the decree of the Charred Council, an ancient body charged by the Creator to preserve the very fabric of existence. But the balance has been broken. Even now, Earth smolders in ruin, fallen to the demon lords, and the Destroyer carves a new kingdom amongst his mighty chosen. Some say the Horseman War triggered the apocalypse, that he rode to Earth unbidden and doomed all of mankind. But what of the other horsemen, fearless enforcers of the Council's will? What of fury, strife, and death? To know those names, you must first know another. Nephilim, cursed union of angel and demon. The Nephilim had countless realms of the sword and burned them to ash. But 4 amongst them grew weary of the slaughter and feared their conquest would imperil the balance. And so a truce was made. The 4 would serve the Council in exchange for unimaginable power. Thus were the dreaded horsemen formed, and the riders' first task was to purge their own brethren from creation, to annihilate the Nephilim and destroy their souls. Let us now cast our gaze to one amongst the 4, not War, who lies chained at the Council's feet, professing his innocence, but one who would save his brother above all else. He has many names: Kinslayer, Executioner, Death.
What an opening. Love that one. And there we got more lore into the four horsemen themselves. We see that they are Nephilim, products of angels and demons.
To bargain for war's freedom, Death swore that he would resurrect humanity. But he knew not how this might be done. And so Death rode forth into the icy veil to find the keeper of secrets.
Definitely more fantasy in this opening than the first one. This world is very fantastical. Look at that. I like that. I like the look of that. The ice in the mountain like that, and the wind blowing. And this one, you actually start with your horse. You could, the first one really could have used you starting off with your horse with those achievements that you had to get. But it was a different. That one was fueled by the story, in that, of course, War was depowered. He didn't have a lot of his abilities. But yeah, having to get all those miles on the horse in that one for the achievement was just brutal. But yeah, this one, and the difference between Death's horse and War's horse is Death's horse has 6 charges of boost. I'm actually not sure if that change came from the Deathinitive Edition, because I thought he had 5 in the original, but I could be wrong about that. And here we actually see the first change from first game, and that is Death has new platform abilities compared to War, and a different dodging mechanic. Death appears to be a bit more nimble than War. With the dodges, he can dodge not just in 4 directions. It appears. Looks like he can dodge around the enemy instead of just away and side to side from the enemy. He can dodge around the enemy. And here's another mechanic that's unique from the first one. You can actually pick up weapons and a gear. And so far the damage actually isn't so bad on Deathinitive Edition. The enemy hit me and I would say that's pretty normal damage. Right here I'm just checking up my pickups. You do have a primary and a secondary weapon, just like War. Primary weapon for Death is the scythes, and his secondary weapon are right here. You see hammers, but he also has fists, axes, glaives, hooks, and what else does he have? Like a buckler, like a defensive sort of fist. And Death's overall a bit faster than War. He definitely has quite a bit of mobility to him. He is missing the range of War's forward dash. War's forward dash, War's dash in general was pretty godlike. But Death doesn't have that, and Death can't block like War can. Death relies on his mobility. Alright, we see another new addition. And that is the fact you can pick up healing items. So you could purchase consumable healing items previously, but they were not in the form of, say, potions. Like you had to, it's kind of like a Zelda sort of thing. Like you had to have a container, then you had to put the essence of whatever healing item you were using in it, such as if it was an actual HP healing or if it was a wrath restoration. So I mean, it's similar here, but it's the systems are simplified, so you could just literally press left or right to heal either one. And it is limited to, unfortunately, you start off with 5 heals either way. I believe it increases as you go, but can't remember. And so far, I'm about 6 episodes in, and it has not improved just yet. So, and right there, what I did was I changed the option so that death just so I don't have to manually pick up items. Death just kind of absorb them. And I suggest you turn that on too, because it's really just convenience. There's really no reason to have to manually pick up items. Because even if you don't want something, you could just, like, you know, sell it off later. Right here, I'm just kind of messing around with the mechanics, testing the moves and stuff like that. My bread and butter in this game was always the scythes and a heavy weapon. Heavy weapons, for me, just they're awesome, because you get that beautiful stun from a lot of those bigger weapons. Beautiful hit stun. And I like the because Darksiders 2 is more of an RPG, I like the emphasis on damage numbers. You can turn those off if you want to, but I kind of like it for this game. And it's like immediate feedback in terms of how much damage you're doing with your various weapons. So right here, I know that my scythes are much weaker than my hammer. Like, even with, you know, 2 swings at a scythe, I'm still doing much more damage with the hammer overall. So you can see the results of your however you build death. And it is an RPG, so you could build death in some very unique and interesting ways. Different play styles. There's like a mage play style, and there's like a physical, you know, like a melee physical bruiser play style. And right there, you were able to see more of the platforming for the game. This one has like a kind of a Prince of Persia vibe to it. A lot of wall running and ledge drops and things like that. You gotta be careful around these guys. They can't hit you from off screen just like that. They do have hella range. They have and they can attack all around too. They can quickly swing behind them. You do want to be careful. Don't take these guys too lightly. You can bully them, but once you got like 3 of them together, like I do here, just kind of keep it moving. But you know, they're a pretty good source of money. You really don't have to fight these guys, but I like to collect the money. Unlike the first game, there is experience points for death himself. As you can see, that that white gauge there at the very top is increasing when I kill him, the gauge above my health bar. But there is no more weapon experience like the first game. The only way your weapons level up is if you gain access to a possessed weapon, which are typically with red title text, and you feed other weapons to your possessed weapon, and that eventually will level it up and give it the skills of the weapons you're feeding it. But you'll have to specifically select whatever skill you want. You won't be able to take all the skills at one time on the possessed weapon, but eventually you'll be able to take at least maybe 6, I think 5 or 6 skills. So possessed weapons are interesting, but yeah, no more straight up weapon level up for weapon usage. That system from the first one's gone. And Wrath's a little different too this time around. It's not super different. For the most part, Death just has different Wrath abilities. 2 War, the gauge looks a little different, and there's more consumables to heal your Wrath this time around, more consistent consumables. And this will be our mid boss here. This guy, this Ice Giant, very annoying when it comes to the Crucible. You have to fight these guys in the Crucible as well. But for now, not too big of a deal. Can be. The dodges aren't on point. And a really solid combo, the one that I'm pretty much doing here is XXYY, or square square, triangle triangle if you're playing PlayStation, which I am playing PlayStation here. But yeah, square square, triangle triangle. Gotta do 2 scythe blows and then 2 very strong hammer blows, sledgehammer blows. In Death is really a savage in this game. Death definitely managed to become probably my favorite horseman of the bunch. After playing, I just got done playing number 3 actually, and even after playing number 3, Death's still my favorite horseman of the bunch. He looks very similar to Razio from Soul Reaver. That's a pretty solid architecture. Jesper Kyd killing it on the soundtrack. This was Jesper Kyd's year. Yeah, I didn't know this. He did this soundtrack, because I got this in Borderlands 2 like right around the same time, maybe at the same time, and his music was all over both games back in 2012. We're about to do like some Prince of Persia-esque wall running here, which is that's one thing I do miss about games like this, games where you are doing the platforming yourself. Yeah, I miss games that aren't context sensitive. I mean, this one has like some this game has some like context sensitive stuff in it when it comes to the platforming. It's kind of like, it's almost like half and half in some ways, but for the most part it's like, it's you doing the platforming, the actual platforming. And man, I miss platform games like this. Like I really get annoyed by games like stuff like Uncharted and Assassin's Creed, where the platform is done for you. To me, it just kind of feels pointless. And it's okay for, you know, to have some games do that, but the fact that so many games have it to where basically like, okay, you reach a ledge, you press forward, and the character automatically jumps across the ledge. Like that's to me, the fact that that's become so standard is just kind of boring to me. I really miss stuff like this where, oh, if there's a ledge, you have to press X to jump it. I do miss that. Just the feel of adventure games that made you platform. It's just, you know, it's great. It's amazing. And that's partly why the Darksiders games connect with me so much. So they remind me of the adventure games of my youth. The Soul Reavers, the Tomb Raiders, The I mean, it does remind me of Devil May Cry, but not so much in the platforming category. The Jack 2s of the world, the Jack 3s of the world. Prince of Persia. And once you're on that type of pole, you can just tap the jump button to do a like a running jump across it. And this is a mechanic that takes some getting used to after playing the first game. First game, you could just hold back whatever direction your character is facing. Press the reverse of that direction, and ward jumps backwards. But in this one, you have to actually hold down a button before ward looks backward, and then you can jump in that direction. So this here, of course, this is a Darksiders game, so I'm looking for secrets, and it just looks like there's a tunnel here, and I'm just wondering, is there something secret around here? So there's like on this floor here, you can see like the extra little area protruding out to the side, so I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything there. This is our next boss fight. It's a cutscene.
Keeper of secrets, I need your help.
I helped you once before, horseman. Look at me now. How I cursed that day. How I curse you.
Careful, Crowfather. I'm not here to put you out of your misery. Not yet.
I know why you've come. Your brother, the one called War, he's been imprisoned by the Charred Council and awaits their judgment for dooming the Earth, for mankind's extinction. Why should I care about your brother's fate?
Because you know the truth. Your secrets can save him.
The Council will condemn War, strip him of power, let him rot in oblivion, to hide the truth. My secrets cannot prove his innocence, horseman.
No, but they can help me to erase the crime.
Bring mankind back from extinction. Madness.
If it's madness, then who better to show me the way?
I like
Should
that.
a way exist, you will find it here.
The Tree of Life. Let me pass.
Not yet. That which you gave me, you will take it back.
In exchange for its secrets, you agreed to keep the amulet.
No. The voices, they curse and threaten without end. They cry to return. You must destroy it.
I cannot.
You annihilated their flesh. Why do you guard their souls?
Open the portal.
You will not pass while I live.
So be it.
It's the wrong thing to say to death. I will say that much.
Here your brethren are trapped in eternal torment. Do you wish to join them? And what of War? Would you kill your brother to save your precious balance?
He is innocent.
Are you so certain?
That story reminds me of Soul Reaver. And here we go. War versus death. Now this is the test. One hell of a test too. Yeah, war ain't no joke. I have no clue why I didn't heal. Guess maybe I'm trying to die here. Or I'm trying to be cool or something. Okay, there it is. music, just lining up with the fight scene. That's pretty tight. Yeah, that hammer putting in work, man. Definitely putting in work. And that was a RNG drop, of course. So the other stuff I got wasn't nearly as strong as that hammer. And this is how you open a game, honestly. Just as vindictive as warriors. Maybe more so. Look at this. Ooh.
Your secrets die with you, old fool.
My secrets, but not yours.
And that crystal contains the souls of the Nephilim, if you guys were wondering. The souls of wars, fallen brothers and sisters that he killed. Right there's our first trophy, Crowcarrion, story-based trophy, so should be easy to get. And yeah, that's one hell of an opening.
Our universe swirl in an endless abyss. Many worlds ravaged by time or conflict are swallowed by the abyss, returned to the nothingness from which they were formed. But others linger for eternity on the relation that creation might be balanced with destruction. And in the final moment of battle, death was banished to one such world in the autumn of its life, yet not far from the edge of darkness. Had death been sent to his doom, that answer would be found in the horseman's future and in his past.
Be still, horseman. You are wounded.
Don't touch me.
Your arrival here is a bad omen. Yes. Troubles me greatly.
Old one, there's more trouble ahead if you don't start making sense. Where is the tree of life?
Life? This world is dying, lad. Choking on chaos and corruption. We can do little to stop it. Soon, the great tree too shall perish, and with it, the last of my people. Is that not what brought you here, Pale Rider?
I seek the tree. Your chaos and corruption don't concern me.
Oh, it will, it will.
It seems none do concern you.
These are our introduction to our first... well, second enemy. I guess the skeletons work first anyway. These are corrupted constructs. The constructs are simply beings created by the makers. Typically they're made of stone. We're going to see a lot of constructs in this particular area, this particular world. This is a whole world. Basically a world of makers. So if you remember the first game, you remember a giant I fought by the name of Wolfang. This is his race.
Fire of the mountain. Help her, and she will help you reach the tree. As for me, I must return to my work.
And who are you to command a rider?
I am a maker, older than even the Charred Council. These hands have laid the foundations for many worlds, but that was long ago. And now, they but hardly know the touch of stone.
Are you not curious as to why I seek the tree?
I would not presume to question one of the four, but yes, tell me.
I must restore humanity, to redeem war.
Heaven and hell battle upon the shattered earth. All creation trembles, and at the center of it all stands your brother.
He is innocent.
I never said he wasn't. The tree holds power over life and death. If you would resurrect humanity, then you are headed in the right direction. Be warned. A dark presence dwells now within the tree, and the path is barred by corruption.
Now there was a lot going on there story-wise.
May the makers form like your...
I'll let you guys come to your own conclusions as far as that goes. This is a skill point level up. There's just a lot happening right now, so I'm not quite sure. I'll just read this. You have leveled up. Every level grants a skill point, which is used to purchase new abilities. Press options to enter the character menu to spend your point. So this is the skills. You have two trees called Harbinger and Necromancer. Necromancer is more of a ranged sort of skills, and Harbinger is more of a melee focused set of skills. Necromancer, you're able to summon ghouls to go fight for you, and there are skills on this path that lets the ghouls explode for high damage. That lets them burn up enemies, and then there's also crows, which are another ranged attack. On the Harbinger side, you have the teleport slash, which is a slash that grants you HP. You slash the enemy, you get HP. It will be a much better skill basically if you got iframes for doing it, but you do not get iframes for doing the Reaper or the Harbinger skill where you the teleport slash. You don't get iframes for the teleport slash, so that makes it a huge problem, and that makes me not typically want to use the teleport slash. So I typically stick to Necromancer, which is what I'm going to do for this playthrough. Later on, I do experiment with the Harbinger to very poor results, but yeah. So also what I wanted to point out earlier was the fact that this particular game, opposed to the first one, has a dialogue wheel. So that's something that wasn't in the first one, because the first one was a very straightforward, narrative driven, just kind of, you know, it was just an experience. But this one's more of an RPG where you talk to people and you take side quests. There are actually side quests in this game, and quite a few of them as well. So definitely a different game than the first Darksiders. But the important thing is that the DNA of this game is the same as Darksiders. So the game feels very similar to the first one, but it does so much different that it expands on everything that the first one had and changes up quite a bit. So it's a very interesting game, a very divisive game. I don't think it's as divisive as the third game currently is, but it is definitely a divisive game. A lot of people didn't like the RPG elements that were added to it. Initially, I was one of those people, but the more I played this game, the more I absolutely loved it. So each of your skills, you can also level those up to level 3. So you have several skills, and you can level each of those skills up to 3 different levels. There's so much going on in this first part of the game that it's kind of, like, I don't want to talk too much, but there's a lot to explain. But I think you guys are smart enough to make your own conclusions on some of this stuff, as far as the story goes anyway. And we're looking for secrets. That treasure chest was one of them. Secrets in this game are much different than Darksiders 1. If you find a treasure chest, what you're going to find there typically are going to be loot. And as you can see there, you can't take your horse everywhere, but typically what you're going to find in treasure chests are loot, weapons, armor, things like that. Unlike the first game where you found all manner of things like enhancements or you still do have treasure chests that contain maps and horde seekers, but you don't have treasure chests containing things like enhancements, for instance. Because this game does not have enhancements. This game has different effects on weapons and your gear. So you'll get things like burn damage. Instead of having a enhancement do that, you'll have a burn damage scythe or a burn damage hammer. And if that becomes too weak, you can feed it to a possessed weapon and move that effect over to that possessed weapon. So they do it like that, and it does make things interesting. It does let you create various builds for death that can be so diverse. Every player can definitely play things differently. And this is Despair, Death's Noble Steed. Despair is a battle-hardened monument to the horseman's own power. Defeat is, well, I actually took too long to read that, but you guys can pause and read it. Again, there's so much going on in this first part of the game. I wish I didn't have to resort to post commentary, but it is the best way of getting this content out to you guys. So it's not my favorite, but you know, I think it's the best way to get these out in a timely fashion. And that over there is the forge. You can see the symbols for water and the symbols for fire. And the center, the balance, the forge. And over here, that's where we're gonna find our blacksmith. I forgot what Idar called her. Idar being the giant we just talked to, the maker. And here's where we find the trainer. I'm breaking his shit right now because he has a lot of gold in it. And sometimes he has potions in it. And that stuff is very important to me, especially in the beginning of the game. And his all this stuff you break, it comes back again after a certain part of the story, so you can break it all over again later. But this guy right here is the trainer, and his name is Thane.
The Reaper. It's about time you came. The Makers are dying, and our realm. We few are all that remain.
A warrior's life is never easy, old one.
Aye, not easy, but simple. I always saw my end with blade in hand, a field of enemy dead before me.
And what glorious end awaits you hiding behind these gates?
You cannot fight corruption, nor can you harm it. You can only kill those it has claimed. Every blow I strike against corruption is a blow against my own people. Muse on that, Rider, before you mark me as a coward.
And your troubles, Maker?
Well, you're welcome to try. This blade is more ancient than you, Rider, and taller to boot.
I will break it, and you down.
This is what I got. I go ahead and I go mano a mano with Thane. Thane actually isn't all too difficult. You do gotta be careful about some of his attacks. His attacks are easy to dodge. He telegraphs pretty obviously. But he does get tricky once you get his health down, maybe almost near half. He does start changing things up a bit. I don't suggest you actually use any of the summons here if you've selected that Wrath ability, because it will confuse things for Eddard. He will sometimes be facing your summons, and he'll inexplicably turn around and bash you, so it just makes things a bit more confusing. And really, there's no need to really fight Eddard right off the bat. I was just kind of trying some stuff. Just trying to because, you know, because I just wanted to see what it was like. And I'm making a lot of mistakes here in this simple way of dodging. And eventually he gets an attack when he attacks 3 times. So he doesn't have it just yet. But definitely be careful about that. And that spin attack there. It's always best to dodge around him. That's the best way.
Allow me to show you how it's done.
See, I'm trying a bit too much because I'm getting impatient. As long as you don't get impatient, this fight is very simple. But I began to get impatient in this fight, and it didn't end well for me. See, he has that 3 hit right there. See, I could have had him if I just stayed patient, but you know, right there he can pretty much take you out in 1 hit. So right here I just decided the fight was too long and I just come back later. But I did want to purchase some of his moves, which you can do. He sells moves for the Harvester. He has 1 free attack, the Harvester Revenge, really good attack. A gap closing attack meant for covering distance and opening up enemies for attack. So he has attacks for the Scythe as well as the Fists. And he has attacks for the pole arms as well, such as the Hammer and the Glaive, things like that. So yeah, there was something I was thinking about. Yeah, I can't remember what it was. Oh, Ulthane. Ulthane, this is his Ulthane's race. Ulthane was the blacksmith we met in the first Darksiders, who gave War the gun Mercy. And typically here is where you can trade weapons. Doesn't look like I received any, but I thought you could previously send weapons from here before as well, but that doesn't appear to be the case.
Maker's beard. The rumors are true. A horseman in the Forge lands. The name's Alia, and that's my brother Valis. We are the keepers of this forge, though I reckon that means less now than once it did.
This is a Maker's Forge?
Nay, the Maker's Forge is lost to us, silenced by the hands of corruption. But in its depths we once crafted the dark towers of hell and the cities of heaven.
Now you make trinkets?
And you, one of the 4, now seek the aid of the Makers? I guess we've all fallen from high places.
I came here seeking the tree, and your elder speaks of fire. What is it?
Aye, the fire of the mountain, the Stonefather's blood. It once flowed into our forge, as did the tears. Both imbued our craft with incredible power, the heart and the soul of stone. But corruption has taken them, and now our forge is silent.
Why does this concern me?
The way to the tree is lost, barred by corruption. You can no more leave this place than we. Restore our forge, and the tree can be reached.
I don't follow your reasoning.
We are makers, not warriors. But we are not without our weapons. Before the forge was lost, we crafted a mighty creature of soul and stone. A Colossus to fight this corruption. But to awaken him requires a maker's key. And we need our forge to craft one. Will you help us?
What is this cauldron?
A temple built in the shadow of Stonefather's Peak. There, the fire of the mountain was harnessed and passed into our forge. Ride east of town, ride through the charred pass, and towards the cindery peak of the Stonefather. There, you will find the cauldron.
Cool. And that's her brother Valis. So I figured I'd try to talk to him before I initiated a discussion with her about him. Figured it'd make more sense.
Man of no words, your brother.
But hardly silent. His voice is the ring of the hammer and the roar of the white flame.
Yes, he works while you talk.
And this character is also
I may have need of a
a
blade.
weapons store.
Is your need greater than ours, horseman? I think not.
But it doesn't look like we'll be able to
fight
buy
for the
weapons
survival
just
of our
yet.
realm and our kin. Prove worthy.
We'll have to do her
Mayhaps
quest
we can do
first.
business.
So, yeah, one of the things I meant to say before, I meant to bring up was the fact that Adar mentioned that makers are older than creation. Older than the Charred Council. And we just heard that the makers built the cities of heaven and hell. So yeah, these guys are some very important creators. Creators for ancient beings, because they seem to be beings most ancient.
We've been awaiting your arrival, horseman. Your shadow has long hovered over this realm.
Many know the Reaper, Old One, but I don't know you.
We are the builders of this world, but corruption seethes at its heart and destroys in days what we shaped over eons. Adar does his best to soothe our pain, but our souls yearn for only one comfort: death. We are without hope.
You despair, Old One, and yet raise life from the earth.
I am a shaman, bound to this task even as our days darken. We are as the vines, coming to root, then to flower, and then to decay, dropping seeds upon the dust. A circle everlasting.
Yeah, notice her.
I cannot
Notice
stop
her
it. Nor can I
trying to grow
stop
that
you.
shrub.
Tell me more about the Tree of Life.
The forest around the tree has been corrupted. It hungers. You cannot
That was a
reach
good
the
look
tree,
at the tree, too.
not with breath still in you.
Like that.
The path of a brother troubles you. It is your past, but also your future.
And that is the pauldron of the horseman. Moria, the maker shaman, gave you this pauldron. The path of your brother troubles you, she said, is the. Ah, man, it's too fast.
Stone,
Just pause
wood,
that.
iron.
I think I'm going to
These
stop
are
reading.
the gifts of the makers.
Stop attempting to read.
Tell me, Shaman, what is corruption?
I only know what I fear it to be. That corruption is hate given life, and that hate does not come from trees or stones, but from ourselves. Horseman, do you ever doubt your future?
No.
So one like yourself would set out to change a fate that displeases him. That is a long and dangerous path, even for death himself.
How is that your concern, Shaman?
Only that I am skilled at crafting talismans. If you gather the proper materials and return them to me, I'll make a potent talisman to aid you.
That has
on
nothing to
your
do with
journey.
what she just said.
What do you require?
Stalker's bone, mordant dew, and carven stone. It is not a simple charm.
Where can I find them?
Somewhere in the Forge Lands. I rarely leave Tristone, but that pup Khan is always out exploring.
Yeah, initially it annoyed me that I was getting all these quests from people. And why is Death
It's new again.
Death the Horseman? Why is he doing fetch quests for these people? Yeah, and this is a great time to sell any excess weapons you got, like all these hammers I got, for
as
instance.
best as I can.
Oh yeah, but initially it severely annoyed me that Death was taking all these quests from people. But it's fine. It's definitely fine. He is it is tit for tat, like he is trying to get something from them by doing things for them. So he is displaced in this world, And now that I know, you know, they aren't just embodiments of what they're supposed to be. They are still beings, and I'm mentioning a horseman here. They are still beings, you know, that exist. And right there, that's War's Paladin. We need to be a higher level to use it. And it has some pretty good special effects on it. And that's another cool thing about the games, is how the horsemen end up using each other's equipment. Especially like War and Death. Fury didn't get really anything from her siblings in Darksiders 3, and I thought that was unfortunate. And here we're just looking at the architecture. It looks really fucking cool. That's Adard up top, and it looks like Thane below him. These guys look like Thane, and Thane is a old maker warrior, and he's the trainer over there. He's really old. Death called him Old One. And these guys, again, they say that their overall race is older than the Charred Council, who is the council charged with keeping the balance between heaven, hell, and earth. So the makers must be ancient. I'm talking ancient, because the council is a primordial council. So those makers must be ancient. Truly ancient. And this here is the forge. The mechanics of this place are, one side contains the I believe, what do they call it, the Tears of the Mountain, and the other side contains the fire of the mountain. And that is the only way to activate this forge. You need the tears, which are water cascading from the mountain. You need the fire. And apparently there's some mystical element to both, which is why the forge is unusable without it. So here I'm just looking around, and that over there, I believe it's called the lost something or other. And we go there later, much later, so. But it never hurts to explore, and this is some damn fine scenery. Makes us question, what the heck happened here with all this rubble? And that's the way to get around in style. Flippy floppity. Dive. Yeah, this game feels great playing it. Like, it feels amazing. Like, just walking around and flipping and exploring. It's a very comfortable game too. It's a game that you can just you can play all day, really. Like, if you don't have anything else to do, you just sit back and play it, and it's definitely comfort food, the game. It can be anyway. It can get really tense as well. And this side will be the fire side, where the lava from the mountain resides, and the other side, the blue with the blue symbols and things like that, of course, is where the tears of the mountain reside, the water. So we can already see the concept of this forge here. And I think this will be the end of this particular episode. So I do appreciate you guys for joining me here. Definitely, this will be a great playthrough, and it's already a ton of fun. So thanks again, you guys. Take care. Peace.